Purity Redeemed, First Edition, Revision, C. by Joseph Leo Hickey III. The text of this book is in the public domain. That means you can copy, distribute, or remix this book as you like, with or without attribution, for commercial or personal use. This book has no copyright restrictions. Cover artwork by Michael Thompson with images from Pixabay. Melodiumhouse.com. Joseph at melodiumhouse.com. Division 1. 1. The clouds are gathering in the sky, and we swing our arms joyfully in the rain, knowing this is the one life we have. The words that Purity wrote. It was amazing how youth can transform the world into its own image, overflow the regime, and stand on top of it. 2. And in other dreams, the wind is roaring, and somewhere else in that same universe, we are sitting on the beach, looking at the multiplicity of colors. The setting of the sun, our new scriptures will be that sunset, because we are naturally drawn toward what is beautiful. We are dancing out sync with the world, singing out of time. The stories we told have become bigger than who we are individually. The eagle flying in the sky will never return here again. He nests somewhere else, never returns here again. 3. We lay on the cool grass, looking at the stars. Purity, your eyes were wide as mine. In this moment I learned the truth about human souls. We argue about what they are, but it makes no difference if our eyes are closed to the stars above us. The world is at peace but blind. And you tell me about a different world, full of history, where they do not burn you. I turn back to you, but this moment is pure happiness, which could transform the world, she told me. Thank you for being here with me. As we walked into separated classrooms, suddenly the sun is covered. They say you can never be certain about the nature of human consciousness. 4. And we know our dreams at night seem real until we wake up. Death is the brutal push out of sleep none of us expect. Purity has spared no details, and I believe every word she said. In a past life, I was famous and my life was cut short. Now I am here with you. And what do you want from me? I asked. Forgiveness which you will never comprehend, she said. Every love was meant to find its target, and can never be suppressed. What is time? I asked her again. An illusion, she replied. Who am I? I asked. Fulfillment, she said. And what should I do? I asked for the first time. Make this a world worth living in. Write the scriptures with me, she said with a smile on her face. And then she led me away to where we lay down and watched the stars. Truth is found in the silent moments we spend together, she said. In every word we forget will become part of the new Bible, part of the words that summarize our lives. Pain of separation. Before you let in the sunlight. 5. When I was a child, I did not understand. The world is a dangerous place. My days are spent chasing the sunlight. At the corner of the room, my nights are spent dreaming about those who do not have time for us. And Purity turned her face back towards me. When I was a child, I had everything I wanted. My days were spent drifting through the clouds. Here tomorrow, gone today. My nights now are spent trying to forget the mistakes of a past life. It's easy to love the world when the world loves you back. I can always fall back on your promises, which is why we write them in our Bible. We cross out the pages we don't like. We rewrite them so that nothing will ever be the same, the comfort and peace we will find. When the spiritual joy falls upon us, I meet every night with Purity at the same time and place. We write by the light of candles. We drift through the illuminated clouds. She knows the answers, and inside her soul she knows what happens in the future. But she says she doesn't want to tell me. She doesn't want to scare me. 6. We do not understand what it would be like to live without food and to starve, but Purity taught me. And all of her free time is spent giving. What she doesn't seem to have, working for free, feeding the poor, and at school during a class in which they tell us what to believe, and that there is no God. Purity tells me not to believe a word from any written book, but never to argue concerning God. I am blind to the light around me. She helped me open up my eyes. I am falling beneath the oceans. She pulled me up and saved me from drowning. I had no compassion. She taught me to feel what she feels. For myself, let me in and blew me away, put me under her enchantment. We walk out of class, and she laughs and tells me that we will have peace together, which we will not find in any book. So we stayed up that night writing the new Bible, hoping no one would hear us. Gospel of peace, words of joy, things she knows but is kept hidden from. The rest of the world, she will let them out one day but cannot, and she cries about it while I'm not with her. 7. We walk through the world together. We float like clouds in our communion. Grow stronger every day, those walking by in their uniforms, while we stand beneath the sun, somewhere far from where we are, on the bridge overlooking the ocean, somewhere she is from. They only believe what they are told, and are blind to the danger they are in. Purity keeps me steady in the night. We hear the storm approaching. We run from the secret police. 8. Purity tells me to write, and read words I would never write on my own, words that would get us both killed if anyone saw us writing them. These are the first words we ever wrote in our new Bible through the chaos of the storm. That robs us of our vision. We cannot discern whether or not we are alive or simply drifting. We will laugh at what brought us unbearable pain. And there are worlds of joy we have never experienced that we will never find. By following any teaching authority, threats mean nothing at all to us, and from this moment on I knew. I stood condemned by the universe I'd experienced and by everything I had known. Talk about fire and burning flesh. The weapons of the new war, and I could ignore every word they said, and I took Purity's hand and never let go. They spoke about how there is no supernatural order, but they never spoke about the miracles in Purity's heart, the joy, the worlds she had seen, all in her past life. She taught me there is really no death, no reason to mourn her passing, that she would soon be leaving and that her strength would soon be mine. We walk through the town together and realize how we've never seen the truth until now. We've never been so brainwashed. She wrote down words that only I could read. Listen very carefully. When the world turns against you, remember that it turned against me first. Will your heart stop when you realize that I've left you? I cannot imagine the pain you will feel, but you will never be alone again. I have to make the world stop hating. And we read on the news tonight about the regime's expansion in lands far away, the burning of the dissenters, the days when the sky turns red. 9. When she told me that I would not see her again, that she was about to die, there was peace in her eyes, but mine were filled with terror. When she told me never to be sad again, I could not hold back the tears. In our desperation, we just need time to figure out our lives. We are so young, but I must tell the world, even when it costs me my life. The year we spent together was worth going through brutal torture, and I couldn't stop her from preaching. I couldn't stop her from spreading her gospel. Let go of the world you've known. Grace is waiting on the other side. Here by your side I will always be. Death is an illusion because the shadows do not exist. And a month later I saw her standing before the inquisitors. Purity, do you recognize these writings? They asked her. I not only recognize them, but I inhale them, and they are every breath I take. She was too young to know the scorch of the fire, too young to be condemned. But here by my side she will always be. She remembered where she came from and where she was going. 10. One day you will find me when you understand yourself and the entropy of the universe. One day you will hear my voice again when you preach the words from our Bible, words scribbled on notepads, and we understand that those who have nothing sink deeper into poverty. You think of me, but it seems like a dream. You dream of me, and it seems like life. You cannot follow me where I have gone. You walk outside and see where we lay down all night and realize that I'm not coming back, but I am glad. The pain is past. Let me tell you a story. I once was a very different person. If you would have known her, you would have loved her. And if you had seen her, you would have forgotten about yourself. And she lived in a different universe that you could never find. What is the soul? And can it survive the death of the body? The soul is the moment you look for me, because you remember me and realize that one day even your memories will burn up like I did. But this soul will last for eternity, even if no one believes it. Like castles made of sand, we fade into the ocean. And I remember the ominous music, and now what we want is the death of the God who never cared about us, the end to the regime of terror. But this spiritual connection between all of us brings us closer away from drowning in the despair of delusion. Everyone needs to be loved. In my past life I could not remember a day away from the spotlight when I stood on the stage and absorbed the love of the crowd. When I was alone, I would cry because of my sins, begging for forgiveness, knowing that I will never spend a day away from my thoughts. Div. 2. 1. As I wait for everyone to arrive, I fall in love with the trees and the nature of the world, not wanting to do anything else but stay here and listen to the currents of the wind. How in these simple seconds, I have no anxiety. I write poems in the sunlight and wait here until the moonlight bounces off of the edges of my typewriter and brightly shines, becoming a guide to all those who have lost their way. As I wait for everyone to arrive, I dream about beautiful and forgotten things. I remember us together and the times. We worried about the future. We face our anxiety. We overcome our isolation. And we listen. We look down at our phones instead of feeling things we should be feeling. About temporary people and places we will never see again. The wind is the only music that both calms me and makes me fear for my life. I observe the crowds as they pass by, like stories I have never read. I only know the title and never the tale. We build our understanding from the first details we learn. It is freezing outside. I can barely press the keys. Hands have lost their feeling. I thought you were talking to me, but you are talking on your phone. 2. There are tears, but they stay inside my soul. There are memories of times long past, and I never let them out. They stay with me all these days, and they satiate my soul through the nights. Words flow from me like fire. We will craft a story of our history, of violence and wrath, but through all of it, emotion and power. I long for the magic I never understood, places long gone. 3. All attempts have failed. I was determined to succeed. I reach for my goals like a shooting star, but fall like a crashing plane into an ocean of my own doubts, where I wait to regain the strength, to get up and try again, to shoot for the stars, despite my doubts, knowing that all I need is time to gain strength, and I will rise again. 4. The end of the world. As the world was coming to an end, we took in the memories, the simple moments that defined who we were, and decided to never let go of them. Although the world was ended by the wars, we knew connection, love, and empathy were the reason. We were here. We tried not to let go of these things, but they faded into memory. And eventually the memories were stripped. From us, all that was left at the end were scars that covered up the beauty within ourselves before we started fighting, and forgot who we were. 5. Baseball. As Judd stepped up to the plate, we watched in anticipation for what would happen next. At the bottom of the ninth, the bases were loaded and the score was tied. What I've loved most about this game are the moments we feel together, suspense, excitement, and anticipation. But most of all was how we felt all these things and came together, not only as a baseball team, but as part of the audience. There are moments we can share, remember, and talk about long after the last ball is caught. 6. The first time I held you, my entire world was changed. You were beautiful, innocent. When I felt your fingers grasp mine, my heart melted. I never knew how it would feel to see my child for the first time until it happened. When you grow up, you will find the world is not always a welcoming place, and it can be sad. Always remember when the years pass to hold on to the hope within your soul. It may be small sometimes, but at the same time your hope will be enough to light the world on fire, because hope is pure and leads you to everything true and full of life. 7. Ice cream. Each year when we celebrated our birthdays, we would eat cake and ice cream The years have passed and I've grown older, but the taste is still the same as if we could go back and relive those memories of the years we no longer remember like they were yesterday. Those summer days we would walk through the city, ice cream cones in our hands. All of our years, honest and simple. I won't say they were perfect, but all of them were good. We would sit in the town, on the bench, talking about our hopes and our anxieties, but you were there, as my best friend, to listen to everything. And ice cream we shared together marked the passing of the stages of our lives, trials we'd overcome, people loved and lost, and falling and then rising. 8. The sunrise. I remember the mornings before going to school and seeing the light of dawn break through the darkness, and how I was caught in a routine and never paid attention to what was going on. The dawn of a beautiful and enthralling world. Other times when I was even younger, I would sit on the hill and inhale the first glowing rays of morning. Now I wish everyone would understand the nature of what is happening. We are all alive. This morning I got up to go to work, and as I sat in traffic, I saw the rising sun, and I knew that every new and beautiful day can never be returned to us or replaced. I feel the glow on my face. I've fallen in love with these moments, when I know I am alive. 9. Artistic freedom. The words I write on this page could make you feel so in love with the simple beauty of quiet and passing things and moments. Words have ushered in new life into the hearts of those despairing, into the lives that have become mundane. I want to hear your words and to read your poems, and I will experience all of the things you are. For myself, when there is no art, there is no communion, which is why no one can make me stop expressing the things I feel and feeling what you do as well. 10. I am the best procrastinator. I watch the news instead of studying for my exams, thinking about what it would be like to be in your shoes. I am the best daydreamer. I stay up all night, unable to sleep, and dream all day during class. There are 6 things I've never done. I have never burned a bridge with anyone. I have never been to the Far East. I've never taken pain to heart, and I've never jumped out of a plane, and I've never kept any secrets from anyone. I've never given up on you. I am the kind of poet who doesn't care about anything but bringing us together, about each person understanding the other. I put off my homework because I believe it is time to take action now, instead of learning about the world and changing it later. 11. Open wounds. Refuse to heal. Old photographs cannot be burned. There is something special about singing the same song as you. Empty, beautiful brokenness we can only see, and we cannot outrun the rate of decay. There's something special when you are here, and my intuition tells me the world is what you make it. There's a passion burning inside the hearts of everyone who sings. At a bar in Sao Paulo, you sit down and listen to the band, talking to someone you love. 12. While I'm alive, I want to do everything I can to change the world, because when you're dead, you will not be an element of change. And I had a dream last night that I was on a trip to Brazil, still in danger of failing out of grad school, still lovesick for places I will never go to. And the night before, I had a dream that I was in high school again, looking for my girlfriend, but I couldn't find her anywhere. When you're dead, you will not be an agent of change, because there is nothing you can do about the past. 13. I am content with who I have become. Every day you try to do better, and achieve your goals, and find your dreams. However, each day that passes, without attaining anything, is another day that you think you will live life, without fulfillment. But really, as January passes, you will slowly come to realize that you have what you wanted already, and what you thought you needed, you never needed, and you could rest satisfied with the air you are breathing. 14. In time, we watch the sunlight and the oceans dry away in eternity. Nothing ever changes, including you and me. And as the school days passed, we lived in different cities. For several decades, we watched the world decay. Our hearts are torn between what we see and what we know. The world is only a shadow because there is so much suffering in it. and all of the shapes and colors existing vibrantly because they were meant to be here. And I'm happy that you can listen, and sometimes people forget who they are, and about the miracles we see. I spent all day at home worrying and watching TV, waiting for the war to begin. And we are too occupied to care because of the jobs we have and the schools we go to. We have hardships of our own, and so we don't care about anyone across the ocean. We will never think deeply about ourselves. So much time is spent inside a routine. And you forget the dream you have at night, reminding you of your childhood before you were told. Anything. In the future, you will be told to repeat. What will be drilled into your head? But I know there is a calmness I've been searching for. I've sought it all my life, but I can't find it anywhere. Even when I'm staring it in the face. I have traveled this nation and will travel across the world. I've seen the faces of millions of people, and they all resonate the same. I've heard their stories firsthand. And the sounds of the world, the rustling of the trees in the wind, the sound of birds, the sound of people through the city. Overwhelming misery of those who lost their friends, of those separated from their families. It has been like this for so long. However, nothing about the future is known. Nothing about it is sure. 15. In the cool night, we are lonely but beautiful, and deeply desired, although no one knows us. During the storm, we stay inside and hold each other, because if we let go, we will lose each other, standing on the mountaintop and bathing in the sunlight, and wondering if this is all of the glory that will ever exist. 16. The clouds from 5 years ago are gone. I miss you the same way. There's something you said that echoes through my mind, even if no one understands it. I will understand it. Even if it resonates with no one else, it will resonate with me. We are forgetting what we came here for. We should spend our time volunteering, helping the homeless and the refugees, but we are so concerned with ourselves that this will never happen. 17. It is May in your eyes are immortalized in this book. Reality crushes me. You do not understand where truth begins and where the metaphors end. 18. There is nothing I can forget about us together. 19. I am at peace in moments like this. And we all believe that after death, that is the end for us. But there's an off chance that we're wrong. 20. You look down on us from a balcony of an old cathedral and shout something, forgetting that we are in a church. Blue skies above us tonight. Tomorrow morning I will get up early to watch the sun rise. And I am not complete with you. I am fragmented without you. 21. Let's take over mainstream literature with our voices. I am always taking new pills, and they come with new side effects. I am always finding new people to talk to, and I love each one. Can you feel my heart? Feel my pain? 22. It feels fantastic to get screwed by the rain, to have every part drenched, and to drink in the rain. Now you are satisfied. 23. Because I have so many interests, I am knowledgeable of everything, and good at nothing. 24. We are floating through history, and we couldn't change it if we tried. Don't forget me when I have you, in every word I write, and every breath I take in. 25. We have all day to write about what makes us feel as if we are in more pain than we ever will be. The time has come to be who you want to be. The time has come to become an honest person. 26. There are only so many ways that words can connect to each other. There is only so much time left in the world to sit in a corner and write love poems about people you will never hear from again. 27. The dreariness of the workday, the ambition you had when you were a child, but can no longer conjure. All of the things you can't feel when you're dead, the silence of the night, the dangerous city streets, the country, no longer a place where we can thrive. Tonight we are all lonely people. There once was a time when I cared about making the right choices. 28. Guys, Bernie Sanders is on my flight. I said hi to him. 29. Without my friends, I don't know if I'd be here, but we can't go back again to the days when all of us were together. 30. When you told me you would never leave, I believed you wholeheartedly. 31. I run down these streets, and I become one with the air that I breathe. Every day we live in poverty and walk the streets of Sao Paulo with pain inside our hearts because we will never find each other. 32. I wish I had more time to spend with you. Before you die or walk away, we wait all day for salvation, but none of us will escape our deaths. And 33. This might be the last time I reach out for you. This might be the last time I call your name and I want you to listen. But no one picks up the phone. The way the world has changed, when the voices that guide us will never be heard again. 34. You throw me into the pool, and I forgot that I had my phone in my pocket. But it's okay. 35. I want to help progressively more people each day of my life. There are 4 million songs on Spotify with no plays. If I had all the time in the world, I would. Inhale each decibel until I can tell you about each one. If you can't recognize how fractured we are, then you never will. 36. I want to be the next poet to transform the world with the emotional content of my poems, although all my poems are about myself and how boring my life has become, the dreariness of my day job, and how I've fallen out. Of love, the heresy of speaking first and letting others know how you feel, because we have been expected to shut up and fall in line with the machine as the cogs turn and the world counts down to Judgment Day. We are all passing through this life, and then we are ghosts, not sure if we will feel anything after death, bleeding slowly every day, bleeding eventually to death. But now is the time for you to hold me, before you will have no more chances. And I spend my nights dreaming that we have other lives in different places, and in all of these we are together. You have the same dreams too, but forgot them when you wake up. We only remember a small percentage of our dreams after sleep and eventually forget even the ones we remembered at first. 37. I heard the news the other day, the poet who was killed by being splattered across the concrete by a car, and how people on the internet would type the next day that he got what he deserved. And this is because their political beliefs don't align with his. And I said, why should his beliefs matter? He died. Don't you understand what this means? I wrote an entire book about why people need to surgically remove extremism from their minds, and a small part of me believed that. People would listen to it, but I am delusional. I am a poet free from the chains of dispassion. I am the only poet who will ever tell you to forget who you are, transcend yourself, because death is horrifying. Life is the moment before we jump off the cliff and scream because we didn't check where we were falling before we let go. 38. Remember that you live in a very important time. You live during the time you are alive. You live during the time planet Earth still exists. And we can make decisions that impact time and eternity. In the hotel room, I find it hard to sleep. The nervousness overtaking me. If I never wake up from this coma, life will go on without me. I am not scared of failing as an artist. I am scared of failing to be who I should be. How unthinkable is suffering, to have your only relief become death. I do not believe in saying goodbye, because we are too interconnected to stop being away from the other for one moment or one instant. I am always here, helping you. 39. A. Dear Purity, we had more than love. We had more than communion. Together we had what is greater than sex. Together we have peace the world will not understand. B. I wish everyone had enough food. I find it hard to believe that other people are starving, because I know any one of them could have been me. C. You come back to the city we went to college. And I'm sorry. Yes, we are still dealing with the same problems. Yes, we are still complaining about the same breakups. 2 years later and we haven't moved on, because it is hard to make new friends, when the only option is to start over and throw away what we had before. And as my friends complain, I sit at the end of the table, thinking. I never told her how much she hurt me. She was never there to listen. If we realized this was our one life, We would greet strangers instead of literally looking down on them from a plane as we move quickly to a new place. D. We don't believe in miracles because we will never witness them. E. We are all looking for a cure for our disease. I am looking for a cure for the monotony of each day, questions about the future, and if in the future civilization will still exist, or if there will always be just one human species. We are all on the same floating rock, and what happens to one of us affects the other. The active shooter scares us to death as we hide behind a locked door, but even in the scariest moment of our lives, I know we are connected and I will keep you safe. We are all human right now. 40. I will read you love poems in French. I don't normally care about learning new languages, but for you, I will study it for hours. We don't speak the same language, but I love you the same. We are both lost, but I will trust you to guide me home. The last thing I want is to say goodbye. When the seasons pass, you will be my transitional object, the only thing that stays same. 41. I fall asleep. Purity. You are the days when the world will change. You will be that change. We're never going back to what existed before. 42. There are no words in the dictionary that could be put in any order and that would describe what we are feeling now. Remember that. 43. Losing control of your emotions. On the airplane, you feel so sick, you lose consciousness. 44. With each passing day, you feel your legs grow stronger. 45. I feel trapped and need to find a window to escape through. 46. One day you will change, and one day realize how much you need to give yourself away. 47. If all you want is someone to listen, then I am always here. 48. Pull me to where you are, through the phone. 49. So many memories of times long past, which we are almost ready to forget. 50. When you are alone with me, we listen to music and feel what the writers of the songs were feeling. When you are with me, we walk hand in hand through the city, and our own story unfolds that will end with a bright and beautiful future that we will write about before we die. And when we write about it, we will know that we have found redemption. 51. Sometimes moments are captured. Other moments are lost. Lovers killed, wars waged, and we all have lost. 52. I realize there is so much tension. In the world, it is threatening to tear itself. At its own seams, there is so much pressure placed upon us just to go to work and become something we don't want to become. 53. I will travel to every nation in the world and will be taken far away from all of the places I could ever call my home. I will be homeless in a world full of homes. Div 3. 1. Show me how to create a beautiful piece of art, and the world will be flooded with beautiful pictures I dream about, beautiful times and places, and I fall in the footsteps of lovers who lived thousands of years ago. I walk the same path they walked. I see the same things they saw. I am more than a lifetime away from finding out what they were thinking. When they saw the same things I see, I will follow them anywhere, even if it leads me far away from my own home and the times and places I am deeply familiar with. A sojourner in cities I will never truly experience. There is power in emotion that you will never understand. There are moments when we lie alone, thinking about how our broken hearts can be mended so easily, if only they knew how to heal in little ways. 2. We watch movies about the apocalypse and the last nights we will spend on this earth. In all of these movies, people wish they had more time to spend in the world, but they were so caught in their own routines that they never discovered the things they were lacking and longing for, and then forgot about them all. 3. If music is what brings us together, then we will have no reason to not be together. 4. Lift me up and take me far from here, far from where no one notices me, because I have emotions that you will never feel, but I will spend my entire life trying to make you understand it. 5. Lift me up and elevate me and keep airborne far above everyone in the world, where I can see what they are all feeling and experience what they are feeling for myself. 6. At the end of the dark and dreary day, I come back to my apartment, but the light bulbs are broken, so I sit in the darkness and then fall asleep in the chair, instead of writing stories about how sad the darkness around me makes me feel too often. 7. There are tears, and they can never break through out of my soul. They swell up inside my soul and never leave because they gave up years ago and they never escape. 8. Teach me how to write beautiful words, and these words will overflow from me and flood the world, and then they will teach the world more about itself than I ever could. 9. There will be so many things I miss about my home after I leave it for good. 10. Breathless, we stand, after running for so long and fighting with a song in our hearts. 11. Come and find me before the days become cold. 12. Whirlwind, I greet the storm with boarded windows, and with 100 prayers, the wind now assailing these walls, and when the storm is gone, I clean up the debris. In my front yard, my neighbors had all fled inland, but I would not be afraid of the whirlwind or of the crashing waves. I know after the storm, the world will rest and be at peace. The nature of created things is turmoil, and finally, the release of all the tension and emotions we harbor in our hearts. How the storm is over, and again I walk down the street. I greet strangers who never lived through the storm. 13. Stray children wandering the streets. We are abandoned, nights fleeing violently from our memories. We walked in the light of the moon, and then ran across the city, and no one was able to stop us from growing older and becoming inebriated in the light of the sun pouring down on us. Div. 4. 1. The poet draws attention to the simple moments in this life we live together. The poet walks with you through the chaos of the war, and the chaos of the explosions and the changing tides of the world. The poet is now writing in his apartment, after work, about redemption and starting over. He takes your hand while you are in class, and writes the words for you, guiding you to power and passion and bliss. Through the chaos that agonizing moments bring to our lives, and then you become the next in a long and epic history of romance, passion, and devastation and recreation. You take up the mantle of poet, you become who he never was. The poet walking through these city streets alone, the cold wind against his shoulders. On the bus he will write words describing what the cold on his shoulders was telling him. It told him 1,000 epic tales, but so quickly that he could not possibly write them all down. It told him about worlds where, when the wars end, there is celebration, and soldiers come home in the freezing winter with nothing but warmth in their hearts. The suffering we feel when we have the familiar ache within our hearts. We have not suffered enough for our sins. The poet draws attention to who we are when he would read his poems, to millions of strangers who would never think of him again. No one should ever care about money, because we have everything we need. In the desperate moment where the stranger on the street reaches out his hand for yours, as he reaches out for help, no one should care about fame, because I've found the recognition I need whenever I speak to you. And then he leaves and goes to a new city, where it is darker and colder, and one day he wakes up and finds himself standing in front of the subway station, watching the trains go by. He can feel their motion like wind, moving his scarf and beanie violently. And then he falls asleep on the bench of the subway station and dreams that he has really found redemption, that all of our sins are washed away, and we can all live together in peace despite what we've done. We can become new people and live in new nations. We can grow older, and we will never be young again. But we will think about what it is like to be young. But perception is not the same as reality. The poet sleeps and also dreams about nations that have forgotten their own people and failed to protect them, and now some of them are slaves of new regimes. The only way we can truly change is through flames. When the old us burns away, when the new replaces the old, when our desperation does us good. The poet wakes up and walks to a new city, forgetting about the old one. A city where the wind is warm and the sun shines. The city where the people who used to love him moved to, but they no longer loved him. And they no longer listened to him. He was not greeted by anyone there. They all had shut their doors, so he traveled quickly to a new land where no one knew him at all. And when people learned about him, they were amazed at the power of his words to change so many lives. When the heart is touched, the result is eternal and unforgettable. And one day the poet stopped writing, because it had become so painful to lift his pen. Then he threw his pen across the oceans, where it landed and sank into the abyss of a dark and dreary life. And people wondered when the poet would ever write new words, because his words made them feel so many emotions at once. But eventually they forgot about the poems, and the poet wandered the streets again, where, for several years, he would contemplate the meaning of life and the end of all good things. Div 5. 1. Last night I had a dream. My car was destroyed, and I could not write anything again. And I spent the rest of my days alone in my room, trying to write something, trying to tell the world what I was feeling. I had become a philosopher, pointing to something greater than myself, not knowing where it was or what it was, but I know it exists all the same. 2. As the crashing waves approach our shore, we board up our windows and get to higher ground. As we steady ourselves before the war, we know we certainly lose ourselves. As the prisoner reaches through the iron door, and the priest says, "Though I am unworthy," this child of God is absolved of all his sins, in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit. He walks out of the prison a new man, and breathes in the free air and bathes in the light of grace, telling everyone he knows about what he has experienced, but what not everyone will understand. As if his entire life he had been dreaming, he was now walking in the clear light of the sun. We desire nothing less than to be totally reconciled with one another. The moments of life become beautiful when we are one with God and love everyone we meet. 3. We dream about the days we've lived through, but in these dreams we walk through the fire and are not burned. I sit in front of a typewriter, and my writing takes on rhythm when I zero in on what I'm trying to say. When the thoughts in my mind of passion and bliss never go away. When I am writing, when all of the tied tongues in the world are loosened. When words flow from us like water. When the loneliness is alleviated by a friend. When the pain enveloping our own souls, which had really taken the place of our souls, flees and is never returned to us again. When we talk together and write about places we would love to see again, but the feelings we will never experience again are so far from us that we cannot understand them. How our closed hearts begin to open, and when our hearts are open, they are big enough to hold anything, including all of the poverty in the world, of those who walk down the street alone, but who you normally would not notice. 4. I will burn down the walls that keep us detained in our own poverty. 5. Notes on these pages, filling the margins with memories of time spent walking through the forest, beside the river, seeing joyful and exonerated truth in the quiet and natural creation. We will fill the pages of notebooks together. The flow movement of the water, of the river, rushes of water, moving and overflowing, flooding our streets. The poet tells us to write and to think about what we write, the words we speak to each other, that help us to understand each other and draw closer to each other. And it's amazing how powerful words can become. They take you to places you'd never think you could ever return to. We forget the voices of the ones we loved. We forget the names of those we loved in a past life, now forgotten. 6. All of my poems are about the nature of created and temporary things. 7. The heat on my fingers as I trace my hands across these pages. 8. We walk one way, and then we never retrace our steps for the rest of our lives. 9. Guide me through this path as I reach out for your hand. 10. I grasp your hand and lead you out of the darkness and into the light. 11. Memories of times when our hearts were broken. 12. Now we've put up walls that no one can penetrate. 13. Staring into the sky, enthralled with the beauty of these moments. 14. I crave connection more than anything else. I hide away in the depths of my own routine. 15. One day you will inhale my words for yourself. 16. When my writing takes a rhythm, it takes on power. It takes on life. It has purpose. It overthrows hearts and sets them up anew. 17. I wish I knew what I wanted. 18. Be honest, be simple, be pure. 19. I put all my words that describe the way I felt on a CD and sent those CDs to every political party in the world. 20. I am joyful because I am truly alive. 21. To breathe in the air and see the natural world, and to travel from one place to another with just as much joy in one place as all the others. 22. You will spend the rest of your days living those days like they are your last days, and take risks without any fear. 23. You fall beneath the oceans, and then the whole world mourns the loss of you. 24. We are helpless in the ice of the night. We walk through another cold street, surrounded by trees all around. As the snow just begins to fall, we hold on to what motivates us, to press forward down the freezing road. And then when we reach the end of the road, we greet strangers who will soon become our family. 25. We celebrate the truth that we found. In the passing years, we celebrate ourselves whole, worthy, and undefiled. We bang on the doors of the churches. That never helped us when we were starving. 26. You are drifting through this world. You are only a wayfarer. But I am one too, and then our emotions jolt us into action. When we spent our entire lives in total apathy, we find what we were fighting for in the spaces between, longing, and what is clearly attainable. The sensations collide with our hearts, and our hearts will not survive it. Metaphor is left where plain truth should have been. There is seething cold where our souls used to be. Love that is not true was never love at all. 27. Come and find me while our lives are in the season of spring, when everything is vibrant and breathing and alive and full of color. 28. During the chaotic moment, when we became breathless at the sound of the world colliding with the violence it never understood, but embraced anyway, and became so close to, and became used to, we stood aloof. 29. If you are here with me, then there will be beautiful songs written about this later. If you are the voice in the night that can hear the crying voices that no one else can, then you will be the one who guides me out of this place I have called home, but that is filled with shadows. 30. With the days leaving us, I forgot about them all, and went to work each day, stuck in a routine, and came home to a dark and empty bed. And I dreamed that I was falling out of my dream, and into a world where the light shines, where fire spreads and lights our way, through the obscurity we've grown used to, because none of our words are clear, or honest, or even lovely. 31. I have so many words I cannot express without you. I have so many feelings in my gut that will never see the light of their own conception. I have become so used to no one understanding me. I have grown accustomed to you walking by and not answering me when I call, when I tell you what I am feeling. But I am just someone on the street with a typewriter. Come to me and I will write your story, and I will tell you your future, and you will grow up in a world that is alien to you. You will love the world, but the world will not always love you. 32. We learned to love each other while the world was falling into a black hole. 33. I grew up with so much grief inside my soul. Each day I learned more about how cruel the people around had become. 34. Somewhere enshrined in your memory are the moments we were together. 70 years have passed. 35. There is only so much words can say. 36. In the depths of my memories, there are thoughts of you. Now they are never recalled from my mind. 37. In the last days, we watched the clock tick and waited for all time to expire. 38. Come and find me, where you will never expect to find me. Come and rescue me from falling into the abyss of where my soul used to be. My words will be brutal from now on. They will cut you to the heart, and then you will join me. 39. If all we are is the memories that you will forget 80 years from now, how are we anything but vapor? 40. Listen to us as we are sinking beneath the sand. Listen to us as we are enveloped by the gravity. The weight of our own hearts pulls us under, and we reach out with our hands as we fall beneath the earth. 41. Dream with me as I bravely dive into the future. 42. The night was setting in, my scars visible to everyone during the day. 43. Sing, in the desperate moments, the anthem of the hopeless, the spark of life, the requiem of the brave. 44. Come and hold me closer than you will ever hold yourself. 45. In my life there were times when I stood with no regrets, for the chances that I took, for the people I have grown to love. 46. As fire rains down on earth, we forget what it felt like to stand in the rain of water. 47. Come back to me, you have drifted far away. 48. The painting on the wall of the ship I would sail in if only I was brave enough to leave my room. But instead I will write about what life would be like if only I explored and found myself somewhere other than where I am now. 49. We are again running through the streets together. We are young with no ambition but to live another day. 50. I fall in love with you more. When? I see you clearly for who you are. When? I see the insides of you because you are glowing with light. 51. When we leave our home and never come back, we have no regrets. 52. When the shades of the world grew darker, we stood there and wiped the dust off our feet and found a new world. 53. You sit in front of your therapist without saying a word, and you never will. 54. Every feeling we have is beautiful. Every emotion we have is new and has never been felt before by any person living or dead. 55. I will find you somewhere, in the space in between melody and creation. 56. I am falling, and I don't know when I will hit the earth. 57. Memories become lost in our dreams, and then we forget that these dreams ever happened. There is something tragic about forgetting, about the love you had in you when you were young. 58. You were placed here for a reason. 59. I was afraid of never experiencing anything but the mundane. 60. I craft words that you will never hear. 61. I am in the city and the lights grow dim. And there is nothing to smell but marijuana. Nothing to experience but a cycle we will never escape from. 62. You dig into my words, but you still have not figured me out. 63. I walk through the city, and the lights have come back on, and I see people as I walk by, covered in blankets on the sidewalk, but I don't say a word to any of them. 64. I am overshadowed by the joy I left in my past. 65. The nights grow longer, and I shiver and freeze, and then cough uncontrollably. There is no understanding here. There is no charity here. There is no life here. 66. You are the beauty I left in my past and never returned to. 67. You took away my heart, and then you broke it, and you never gave it back to me. You still have a piece, and I want that small piece back. 68. I am wading through the pool of isolation and desperate tears that no one will understand. 69. I will write all day long until you start listening to me. 70. My friends were with me, and we had the best time talking about past times that we will never experience again, or at least not again anytime soon. 71. I call you while the night is setting in. You can see me walking towards you. In the park, I kiss you and then we spend the night together. 72. Tell me what to write about, and I will show you what you are feeling, but could never put to words. 73. I feel an ocean surrounding me, water gushing and surrounding my skin. I hold you in the water, and you look at the bright and gorgeous sky. This is our world, at least for now. 74. I wish you would understand what I'm feeling. 75. Do you have any idea how much I've wanted you to listen through all of these years that we no longer have? 76. Come and find me in the midst of your despair, and I will tell you the truth about the human condition. 77. I have missed the quiet moments of my life before I had to work to survive. 78. Alone in the cold, losing all of your strength to fight. 79. A long time ago there was hope. 80. If only we knew what we needed, because we are never satisfied. 81. There is truth in every moment we spend alone together. 82. There is joy in every moment we spend alone together. 83. You took me by the hand and led me to a nation I never thought I would visit. And then we spent the rest of our days struggling to help the poor, struggling to find the beauty in broken places. 84. If you cannot see the tears on my face, then you are not looking hard enough. 85. Walk with me through the natural beauty of the fleeting world. 86. Talk to me about what your anxieties are. Chances are I've felt it too. 87. With each step we take through the world, we become closer to each other as the best of friends. 88. Come and find me when I am sinking into the whirlpool and then drowning underneath the ocean. My hand is reaching out for yours, but I can't reach far enough. 89. We are connected in ways neither of us has ever understood. 90. There is beauty in every created thing. 91. I give you one last kiss before the end. 92. The taste of love and the taste of pain are exactly the same flavor. 93. You fall into the arms of your lover. 94. I love the moments when we fall into the depth of passion, when we forget about everything else. But the one thing we love. 95. Come reach through history and pull me out of this world. 96. Rosary beads and broken bones are all I have left. 97. I will fight forever against what strangles us. 98. Find your way with me out of the shadows and into the bright and glorious world. 99. We have all become vagabonds, even though in the past we were never desperate or even afraid. 100. What I never understood about the end of things is how all things end so quickly. I never understood anything about the nature of creation, or the nature of who I am, or why I exist at all, but somewhere in the depths of the mystery of our universe, this secret is waiting to be uncovered, waiting to be grasped. You only need to diligently search, and you will find the truth about the nature of your own soul. When I was young, I would stare at the ceiling and ask myself, why am I here, and how did I get here? Today I am no closer to learning the answer to these questions than I ever was. Today I am dreaming about worlds where we understand these things, but no one can conceptualize what it would be like to live in one of those worlds. In my youth, we watched the basketball game, and then we went through the city seeing the lights all around, and then I would go to my room and write about everything I felt, and everything I loved, and everything I hated, and everything I wanted to experience again, but could not name or describe. I only knew when I had experienced these things, and did not know anything else. In my youth, I dreamed about being in the middle of the ocean, as the waves made the ship rock from side to side and almost capsize. Now I am alone in my apartment, and I dream the same dream once again, but 35 years have passed since then. 101. I have changed so much in the past 5 years. 102. I have dreamed about living other lives and taking risks I would never take in this simple life I am living now. I have dreamed about changing so many things about myself and becoming a new and different person. But where I am now is perfect. We're closer to heaven than we will ever be. Joseph Leo Hickey lives in VA. He's the author of 5 other poetry books, including Baptism of Apathy, Unity, Love Poems at the End of Our Lives, Leafy, and The Last Poem. He is a double graduate of George Mason University and is currently 26 years old. YouTube, All the Stars Are Dead, melodiumhouse.com. Currently 26 years old. YouTube, All the Stars Are Dead, melodiumhouse.com.